Talking about Rudy and I'm wearing the shirt. All right. On Your Left podcast episode 2. Pumping out so much content lately here On Your Left. I don't know. I'm just hitting a vein, man. Yeah. You know? So first on the agenda is the Race Ranger data coming out of Roth, which is basically our Epstein list. We got printouts here. We highlighted some things. And I think we don't need to do a deep dive, but I think we should do a somewhat dive. We're dipping our toe into this. Yeah. Right? Can you explain, and I don't even know if I can explain this, what are yo-yos?
I think you should explain it, but okay. From what I understand is you come into the draft and you come out. So that's one yo-yo, right?
Okay, so you're cycling up, you get a little too close, you see the red light or whatever, the yellow, and then you back out. Okay, I was thinking maybe like it was a slingshot thing, and I was like, how can they determine that? I don't know. So that's like, okay, so do you think like yo-yo should be weighted? Like, is that like a bad metric, you think?
I don't know. Here's the thing is Roth has so many people in that one uphill section. When I'm watching it as a spectator, again, I haven't been there. There's going to be a lot of drafting in that section, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who's looking at this has to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because of just how many athletes are there, and like kind of it's got flatter sections and stuff like that. I just pulled it up on the screen so everyone can see what we're looking at. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Now, what jumps out at you when you first look at this? Because I think it kind of jumped out at everybody.
Yeah, I think it's just like the amount of time they spent in the draft, and then everyone wants to blame Henry and Vince and point fingers at them.
That's what I was saying. I was like, how come Vince is sitting in there for 9.5 minutes and clearly he's on Schumann? You don't think it's like, okay, I guess, is this just like kind of propaganda for fodder to like talk shit on athletes, or do you think these athletes should be held accountable in a sense?
So this is the first launch of the data, right? From what I understand.
Yeah.
I think you have to account for a couple of different things. Like, how accurate is the data? Like, first of all, could someone get screwed and you look at this like in the next data that they post where they're sitting in the draft for an hour?
Yeah, like is 9 minutes going to be the norm? You know,
it's hard to say.
So the problem with that theory is there's athletes on here who got like Finn Grossfries. He's a powerhouse cyclist. He was 15 seconds in there. You go to Matt Hansen, 12 seconds in the illegal time. So the thing that jumps out at me is how skewed everything is. So, but I guess you're right. In order to make an accurate assessment on data, you need like kind of a bunch of data.
Yeah. So I just like, I don't know. It's easy to point fingers and say, these people are spending like, what's the biggest number?
Oh, it's right here. Timo Sheffield, 22.5 minutes.
I had a road. He was in the wrong race. Hamburg was the weekend before.
Dude,
the weekend after.
There's an athlete in here. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to throw him under the bus, but his favorite wheel is a chick. A male's where it says favorite wheel. So basically he was riding on a girl the whole time, which is pretty funny. How's my microphone? Is it going in and out?
No,
we're good.
I can hear you pretty well.
So
yeah, I'm not going to look too much into this. I want to see like 10 data points and then like start calling people out. But I don't know. For the first one, it's all over the place.
I love it. I mean, this is great. It's like I said, it's our Epstein files. We've been asking for these. We finally got them. Trump, aka Felix, delivered. So I mean, he's Trump in this situation. Don't come after me. All right, moving on from that's talking Roth Race Ranger data. By the way, Race Ranger did reach out to me. They were like, your memes were hysterical. Our engineer was laughing his ass off. So that's always nice when my work gets recognized.
I will say about Race Ranger that I've reached out to him to try to buy a device so I could practice with training partners.
That's a brilliant idea.
I don't know why they don't sell it or like give it to us at a discount price if we want to train with it.
Dude, that's legitness. I don't know why they don't do that. Huh. It's almost like if you run a race and you're a race director, you should be able to do that if you want to add that caveat to your race. Like, I guess like maybe they have some proprietary technology like software that you need to like send the race rangers back to. Like, yeah, how do you decode everything and manage it on site? Like the learning curve might be high or something where because I'd imagine there's a whole software that they built just to decode all of the information or so, like, and they're based out of Australia, right?
I don't know.
I think they are. Yeah, so I guess it might be logistically like a nightmare to like send race rangers to a pro race in the middle of Boise, Idaho, just to get it back for what?
I mean, they definitely have like a home base in America.
Do they?
They have to.
I don't think so, dude. I really don't.
So they're just going around with the Pro Series wherever it falls.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of how you have to like think about it. Like, why would they open up operations in the United States when they were founded? It's either New Zealand or Australia. I forget which one it is, but it seems like a huge overhead unless like they have employees, like they have an employee here. But I've never met someone or talked to someone. I've never seen someone speak on behalf of Race Ranger without an Aussie or New Zealand accent.
That makes sense.
So I guess that's like where, speaking of Boise, and this isn't on our call sheet, ESPN was at Boise 70.3. Did you see the video that they dropped?
No.
They dropped it yesterday. Organic Kyle sent it to me. It's like a 10-minute. First of all, there was all this hype like ESPN gonna be at Ironman, on the big stage, and there's no details about it. It's part of their 50-50, which is 50 sports and 50 states. And immediately when I heard it was like part of that, I was just thinking like that sounds corny as hell. Like it's not going to be what we think it is. It's not going to be like highlights of the pro race on ESPN Sports Center or anything. And it wasn't. Basically, they followed around two age groupers. No offense to them. And I think the one age grouper did like an 8-hour half, but it was just like this. It was a typical like triathlon thing where it was like a feel good story. It wasn't about like the performance. There's pros there. Not one pro got interviewed. It was such just a disappointment, in my opinion.
Yeah. So they're doing 50 sports, 50 states, you said?
Yeah. So they picked Boise.
So are they going to do like the professionals in every other sport? Like baseball, they'll do like the MLB and then basketball, and so on, and then they go to triathlon. And it's like some lazy age grouper.
That's actually a good point.
Finishing like half in 8 hours.
Like, yeah, that's actually a really good point. Because what if it was just basically all amateurs, and now I'm just like, yeah, now I feel like an idiot.
It's amateurs in every sport. Like they go to rec centers for pickup games in basketball.
Yeah,
but it's going to be like a high level like basketball feature, and if it's ESPN, and then they go to triathlon, it's a bunch of donuts.
Yeah, because it's a feel good like sport. Like I'm so sick, and I know this is like elitist, but I'm just so sick of like the story of like the guy who went into the guy who's like overcame like some kind of illness or whatever, like that. We all know the sport literally has talked about that for the past 30 years. I want to hear about like the guy who got divorced and went into like $100,000 in debt and like climbed out of a rut, like lost custody of his kids.
Oh man, I think we have a lot of characters. We just use Sam.
Yeah, dude, we were talking about him this morning. I mean, Sam was like doing full on changes in T2 as an amateur, cross training from a football injury. Now he's like,
I didn't know he played football. That's funny.
Yeah, I think
Did you play Pop Warner?
I played football for 12 years. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal.
I did the 1 year.
Yeah, it was like, it is, dude, football in my high school, there was like 2,000 people at my games. It was like legitness. I didn't lose a game like from 8th grade to my senior year unless it was in the playoffs. Like it was retarded how big it was at my school. Anyways, glory days. Things aren't going well if you're talking about high school football. Moving on. Do American triathletes take themselves way too seriously? This was a comment that I actually threw at you, and I was like, I think Europeans take themselves too seriously. And you were like, gave me one of these. You're like, dude, have you ever met the Norwegians? And I was like, oh yeah, duh. Like that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I think I've turned my tune on the Europeans, especially getting to know the GB guys. Do you think American triathletes, because I'll tell you what I think, but do you think American triathletes take themselves too seriously?
I'm going to say no. It's hard, like in what environment, right? Are we talking about them coming over here? I think you mentioned it where you said like the Euros, when they come over here, they feel like they think that they're celebrities or something when they show up to the pool deck.
Yeah.
They expect like respect, and that doesn't really happen in pros in America. I feel like they go to the pool and you're just like trying to find a lane and stay quiet and put your head down.
I think that's, and the reason I say this is because part of being on starting on your left is just like, I felt like triathlon in general is taking itself too seriously. And then you meet the pros, and like when I started bumping elbows with like elite athletes, I'm like, oh, these dudes are very normal. Their whole life is so monotonous when it comes to like training and stuff. Like they have to have fun. And they're not like these type A, because the amateurs, I guess when I say triathletes, like I'm more talking about the amateurs. the age groupers, I feel like, take themselves so seriously. Like, I've been part of amateur teams where you would think that they're training to win Kona, when in reality, like, they just want to make Team USA at age group nationals.
Yeah, I think there's like a super high burnout rate with those types of people. They're just not sustaining the sport for more than a couple years.
And I feel like they put emphasis on like the wrong things. Like, it really is just about the compounding years. Like, there's so much pressure to like perform at every race as like an amateur. I feel like, at least from what I noticed, like that's how I always felt. And then, I think we talked about this last time. Like, you just try to get better at like the course, not the time. And I just feel like, going back to that conversation, just there's so much pressure on amateurs put on themselves because like they sacrifice like time away from family, time away like from job and all of that. And if there ever is a PSA to like amateurs out there, it's like, it's all fucking arbitrary at the end of the day. Like, if you're just training and you're performing in practice, like, you're going to get better, you're going to get faster. Stop taking yourself too seriously. The elites don't take themselves so seriously and they get faster. So,
yeah, I think, well, with the elites, it's like you take yourself seriously, but the process needs to be fun, right? That's like two different things. So we can be type A about the specifics in each session. Like, I want to hit this time, I need to hit this power, but like we can laugh and crack jokes during that whole thing.
Yeah, like we all know somebody who's also an elite who, if something doesn't go their way in training, like they'll just have like a mental breakdown and really just sour the mood and everything. And I mean, what happens like if you were to go out and do like 3x15? What's your threshold right now? Like 320 watts if you were to go push?
Yeah, we'll say 320. I'm not in like the best shape, but yeah.
Okay, all right. List for conversational. Like, if you go out there in one day, like things just aren't moving because maybe like you have a big load or like you haven't recovered really from the days before. Especially like if you have a hard ride on like a Tuesday and like you had like a 5-hour or 4-hour ride on a Sunday or something like that. How do you approach if you're like only pushing 310, 315 instead of the 320? Like, it's only 5 to 10 watts, but does that get in your head at all?
Well, like a lot depends on like how fatigued you are. Like, now we have like, we're doing lactate at the beginning of training block just to make sure, yeah, everything's good. But like the heat and the cold and all these different metrics we can use to sort of like check ourselves at the door and say, okay, like this affected that, or maybe I didn't sleep. So you like, as a pro, I take into account all those little details.
Okay, now it's just like anything else. Like, if you take an off day, don't take too many off days. If you sag a workout, don't sag too many workouts. Like, when does that become like weary to you where you're like, wow, maybe like I can't hold 330 or 320 as my threshold because I haven't done it in like 2 threshold sessions? Like, does that ever come into your head, or are you always just like, I feel like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm coming from a running background where like you had 2 sessions a week you had to nail. And if you had one bad session, you kind of like had 3 days to like dwell on it. In triathlon, it's so short lived. You have one bad session, then you got to go swim right after. So then you really don't care about each individual session. You're trying to stack. I always say you're like trying to stack months. You're not trying to stack one great session. Yeah. I think that's like the motto of triathlon.
Stack months.
We'll just stack weeks, stack months, and then like, rather than having one hero workout, you have to adopt that, or you just have like it's like you burn out.
I think, yeah. And I think that's something that age groupers could take away from this episode for sure. I guess that's the whole point of that segment is how can we make training at your level relatable to the elites? Because I know tons of amateurs and I was one of them and trained very ignorantly. Like, dude, I'll never forget the club I was part of. Like, I didn't know what zone 2 was. It was a giant dick measuring competition every session. And because like these people were training for Olympic distance and like we were training for age group nationals, and that was it. Like, I didn't even know what long course was when I first got into the sport. It was such a bizarre like way of training.
Yeah, I'd say most age groupers are like that. They have like, you have like 12 to 14 hours at most to train, right? So you want to smash every session. I would say most age groupers are over like training way too hard. They say they're training zone 2 and they look down at their heart rate and they're like, oh, that's not right. But I feel good because I just took yesterday completely off, you know? So like, it's just, you're going too hard.
Now let's move on to the WTCS scandal. I don't really I don't really understand fully what the hell happened, and I don't know the significance of what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but why is it significant for that that basically the president got forced out?
I think I think you should explain what's happening.
Okay, I don't really know. I was reading the article, I'm still kind of confused. Basically, there was a re-election happening, and one of the guys called the current sitting president and was like, "You shouldn't run, right? Like, don't run. We're all not going to vote for you anyways," type of deal. And I'm going to be the guy. Like, is that basically what happened? It was a female who was president, and a guy came in and was like, he like sent her some WhatsApp text and was like, "Don't run, step out."
I have no idea. I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't read it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to explain.
No, I think that's basically what happened. Is like, it was like a political move of like, if you become president, like no one's really going to support you and you're not going to be able to get anything done. So I guess like, clearly we don't really know the full story, but I guess where the shady part is there's politics involved. Clearly this guy, I think he's from Italy, was going to be the president. He was going to be appointed and supported by like all this black, dark, like money and, under the table, like politics. So that in and of itself sours the entire league in a sense, because there's going to be influence of like where races are being held, where money goes, funding, all of that stuff. I just think that is just highlights like the corruption in that league. And there's always been corruption in that league, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't there always some kind of like weird shit going on?
Yeah, I still like, I understand where they get the funds, but at the same time, like to put on a race every year in Japan, like I don't know how they're making profit, because it costs, okay, this was years ago, but it costs $1 million to put on a WTCS.
Jesus.
So like every year, it's not like Ironman where you're getting like this massive age group participation.
Yeah.
In Abu Dhabi. Like, how are they? Like, it makes sense with Abu Dhabi. They put on the race, and maybe like they're paying for it. But
dude, and the subscriptions are like what? You pay $20 a year or something like that. So it's not like
for the video.
Yeah, so it's not like they're making. I'm just thinking of ways like they're making money. They're not making tons of money from the subscriptions either.
No, not at all. Which I think they should lose completely, because I stopped watching WTS racing because of the paywall. Yeah, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, like I would watch like, especially mixed team relay, like the shorter stuff that I can like carve out time for. But yeah, there's no way I'm justifying, like, especially if the race, at least give us the rewatch like a month later or something. They don't even give us the rewatch. It's bizarre. Yeah, so we don't know how they make money. Seems all fucked and corrupt.
Well, they get bailed out by the USOPC.
Okay, so
they fund it.
So
but I can't imagine them getting that much funding, like the production crew and the quality of racing super high level. And like I said, it's $1 million each event. So that's a lot of cash.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right, let's get in. We're 20 minutes in. Let's get into our social media posts of the week. We're going to share the first screen. So the first one was sent to me by a age grouper, and he said, "Is Laidlow trying to be the new Jan?" Here's Laidlow after Roth. He walks across the line, grabs it, holds it in. The iconic, now let's go to it here, the iconic Jan Kona pose. What do you think? You think he's trying to copy Jan there?
I mean, he's not a bad person to copy, but let's look at, he lives in Girona. Does Laidlow live in Girona? Or?
He
spends a lot of time. Okay.
Yeah, he spends little stints in Girona. Let's put it that way.
So that's a Jan thing.
Okay.
He's got the claim.
Okay.
The Jan claim at the finish line.
Laidlow's one niece. He has one Kona.
I mean, regardless of the result, what other, outside of this, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the crunch over. Let's go back to it. I'm looking at the crunch over the tape on the finish line. Walking, that was a Jan thing. Jan would walk. Crunch, you bring it in close and you scream. And I'm not going to lie to you, if you saw this on video, it was kind of a low walk. Like he knew he was going to get, like, obviously, you're getting photographed, but it was almost like a pose. And I just think it was a little too Jan and not enough Laidlow.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go. Yeah. I'll agree with that. Just the claim though, but not outside of this. You wouldn't say Laidlow's trying to be Jan, like with his media and his.
No. Well,
like his persona.
No.
And his fashion.
I will say this though, it's kind of a disrespect. His caption was, "This one's for my team. Roth really is magic." Now we all know Kona's got the magic. So if you're saying Roth has the magic, I feel like that's a little shot across the bow at Kona and Ironman in a sense. Do you think that or no?
No, it's just, dude, Roth is totally different than Kona.
So it can't be magic then. It can't. If it's got to be something. It's got to be like spectacular, whimsical.
Okay, sure. Magic, I don't, between Kona and this, I don't think there's like, you can't compare.
Like when people were comparing St. George to Kona and saying like there's the magic is missing, it's because Kona holds the magic and it's the end all be all when it comes to magic. So I don't appreciate the magic comment, I guess is the point. All right, now going to the second one, this guy. So let's rate his race setup. First, we're going to rate the look 1 through 10. We're going on the Portnoy pizza scale. So decimals, rate his outfit and then rate his arrowness.
All right, buddy. His outfit looks like it's a kit from the 1980s. Bud Light, was it the Bud Light tour?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, retro looking. I'm going to give it, would I ever wear it? You couldn't find me in that outfit ever. You couldn't pay me to wear that.
Let me point out the fanny pack. I think he's got a bandana and a sweatband on his wrist, but he's also rocking high socks, and he might have an undershirt. That might be an undershirt. I don't know.
So, but saying all that I wouldn't wear it. I really like it.
I like the way it looks.
I like it. I like that he's going for it, and he's got the. I definitely bought into like the fanny pack. And where's the bandana?
There's something that's like extra in front of the sweatband there.
Okay,
that pink thing. It looks like maybe like a neck bandana or something he's got around his thing. So rate it 1 through 10. His look.
His look. I'm gonna give it a 7. 7.1.
7.1. Yeah, I'll go 7.3 just on the look. I wish he was on a TT bike. Now rate his aero setup. How aero is he 1 through 10?
How aero? He's like a 2.5.
I was gonna give it 3.3.
Yeah, it's pretty low. I mean, a lot of times you see people just on road bikes. I'd give that a 1 for showing up, and then getting a 51 speed shot bars. I'll bump it up to a 2.5.
Okay. It would have been great if he had a TT helmet on. I feel like it really would have made everything.
Like a disc and a TT helmet.
He's an influencer. Shout out whatever your name is. Okay, next. We're gonna go to influencer brain rot. Now,
is this an account?
Where is it?
Come on, Jamie.
Yeah, right. Where is this? Should we? I can edit this out. Oh, they're down here. Okay. Now we all know Shari Hawkins, right?
And this is
a trend on running Instagram where people do this is me running at this pace.
If I was running
what is the point of this? I guess like she does her 3-hour marathon. Look.
If I was running a 3-hour marathon.
Yeah.
I blocked Shari.
If I was running
when you sent me the video, I was like, oh, she blocked me. And then I realized I blocked her.
And this is how fast I'd be running?
And nothing, I don't know her. I just cannot stand these videos. Like her every video pops up on my feed, and I was like, I can't see it. I blocked her.
It's like she's got no self-respect. Like
it just crushes my algorithm.
If I was running a 2-hour
Why do people like this? It's fun. I mean, it's fun to watch someone go from like just barely being able to run to opening up their stride.
But it's really, it really just, I feel like disrespected. And since we've started doing this and like me trying to find Instagram posts, I've really started to hate Instagram. Like just trying to find the most rot social media posts have been really sad at night. I'm just like, I hate it here. So here's another runner's brain rot. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb. This guy says running in the rain makes me realize how much I love running in the rain. So profound. And then the caption is ambition over the need to belong.
That is so cringe, dude. Also, just like posing and flexing your abs. I'm not into this.
Like, bro, we get it. Like, you should get it too. Like, you're fit. You got a lot to work with. Now, the problem is it's a pointless video. You set the camera up. The other thing is you have this motivational caption like ambition over the need to belong. Bro, you doing this is you feeling the need to belong. So the whole thing's just contradictory. So
yeah, I'm more of a fan of like, I don't know if you saw the new David Goggins video that came out where those guys run up to him with the phone.
David Goggins is my Sherry Hawkins to you.
But it's like the complete opposite.
No, is that the video where the guy runs up next to David Goggins and he like looks at him?
No,
oh.
It's a new one where he gets done with a run and he's like, I don't need photos. I don't need videos of me training. I'm out here on my own doing 24 miles, and not taking videos. And this guy's just taking videos of him flexing his abs.
So the next one,
trying to look hot.
The next one is the next one is these 3 tips. Now, this has been a trend I've kind of uncovered. I don't know. I DM'd the other guy and he's like, I came up with these 3 tips on my own. And I'm just like, first of all, these 3 tips are like entry-level tips that everybody heard of. So you didn't come up on this. You kind of regurgitated it. The woman said the first one is pro wetsuit strip. As you run out of T1, yank off your cap and goggles and put them inside the sleeve so you can have a hands-free. I guess I don't think that's really necessary. The next is stick gels and tabs inside your tri pockets before race start. Now, I will never do that because you're swimming and chances are water might get into anything and dissolve all that. The next is chafing prevention. Now, this one is the same one as the other one. Dab Vaseline under your saddle. You'll thank me later. What do you got to say about that one?
I don't know what that means. What? Like, under your saddle when you rack the bike?
Like before. So like you don't chafe. Like this guy says, smear some Vaseline under your saddle before you race. If you start chafing after the swimmer on the bike, you'll have something to ease the discomfort. It's the same tip.
They're talking about like putting Vaseline on their gooch or the actual saddle.
The actual saddle.
Outside the saddle.
Outside the saddle. Like you have Vaseline on your bike saddle.
Is that a thing? Have I been doing triathlon for I don't know how many years, like over 10 years, and I didn't know that was a thing.
Why wouldn't you just put body glide or chafe down there before the race, like on your skin, on the actual skin? No, this isn't a thing, dude. This isn't a thing. This is either an AI generated thing, or this is why you shouldn't listen to people who just get into things. Like when I go and learn painting, I'm not going to learn painting from a guy who's been painting for a year. I'm going to learn to the guy who's been painting for the past 20 years. And this is why you can't get your tips from influencers on social media who've been in triathlon for, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. And then don't put Vaseline on top of your saddle. You're going to fall off of it.
It's why.
Like that sounds pretty dangerous. But again, going back to the last episode, anytime someone says link in the caption, here's the 3 tips, we're not going to click. I mean, you obviously went through the time to do this, so we saved everyone 30 seconds of their life.
Yeah. Now he says put everything in a plastic bag and put your hat, your gels, your sunglasses, your flask all in a plastic bag so you can just grab it and run. Now we're going to one-up you on this tip, guy. Put everything in your hat and then take your hat so you don't have to open a plastic bag. Like that's the tip. That's the only tip that anybody should be giving when it comes to carrying stuff out of nutrition. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah.
All right. That's what I thought. Had to come down after that one. I got pretty heated after that.
At the end of the day, who cares?
I mean, that should be the name of this podcast. At the end of the day, who cares?
That's our slogan.
All right, 31 minutes. I think we can cut it down to 30. You got anything else?
No.
Hey, we have to actually thank everybody for all the positive feedback. We got a bunch of positive feedback. Yeah, we'll keep plugging along at this.
Here to finish, what's next for On Your Left in terms of power ranking? What's the next video?
Lowellville. So we're taking a little bit of a lull. I mean, there's not much on the calendar either. We're in the Bermuda Triangle of the Ironman race season. We have T100 London next week, and we're not going to do a start list. We're going to, because it's the same 6 people that would be talked about. So we're going to do a guy off.
What does that mean?
And a girl off or chick off. Basically, we each come to the table with 2 names, and we just name them. That's it. We just go, oh yeah, that's a guy.
Okay. I'll have a look.
Yeah, we basically like whoever has the best guys wins. So you just got to one up. Dude, looking at the do a little preview real quick. Actually, looking at the list for the women's, it's like 60% wild cards. It's bizarre. Like, dude, championship season in Ironman really shows you who the big guys are, like, in my opinion, because Ironman still got it. Like, they decimated the start list for both men and women for T100 London.
Cool.
Have you gotten the call? Did they ask you to race?
To race? No. I mean, I got to go prove myself. I got to get some more points, and I got to get a couple podiums. I'm all in on like Ironman Arizona.
There we go. All right.
Cool.
At the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Until next week.
Viva the feed.